Good evening. This is the Change, and tonight we're going to talk about dismantling our country by bending the law to your will, by taking advantage of the system. If you wanted to destroy a country from the inside, how would you do it? Seems like the left has a game plan in order, and they're sticking to it. We've all heard talk about defund the police, defund the police, defund the police, defund the police. And no normal person would ever support such insanity. No normal person would ever support that. So what you do is put all your money, all your lobbyists, all of your bad guys behind some far left mayor. Get a bad mayor elected. Get a far left district attorney elected, preferably one with ties to somebody like George Soros. You know, somebody has beliefs like that. Somebody wants to destroy the country. Get them elected. And you can get a long way with that. Just those two steps. Because the mayor's going to secretly want to cut funding to the police department. That's going to make police officers good police officers. Now, when I'm talking about police officers, we all can understand there are good police officers and there are bad police officers. It's just like normal people. There are good people, there are evil people. There are good cops, there are bad cops. We all know this. It's just when a cop's being a good guy, he doesn't get all the likes and shares on social media. He doesn't get all the shares someone stomping somebody's face in gets. But see, if you get a bad mayor in there, far left mayor, get a far left mayor in there willing to cut funding for the police department, real sneakily like, and then the whole time they could be saying, we just need more money to stop all this crime. We need more money, government or state or county or whatever, whoever they're asking for money, because they're asking everybody for money. Then you get the DA in there who refuses to prosecute anybody. Oh, they'll prosecute somebody. It's just, I don't feel like they're prosecuting the right people, if you know what I mean. Alvin Bragg. But that's two steps. That's going to cause, for one thing, police officers to leave the force. The good police officers will leave the force if the DA is not prosecuting people. What would be the point? San Francisco, Manhattan. What would be the point of a cop arresting somebody? That's how they feel. Obviously, you should arrest someone if they're breaking the law. But it's hard to support police officers, back the blue. It's hard to support police officers when people can be rioting, or some pervert can be swinging his junk around kids, and cops just standing there watching. And then some Christian is speaking on a bullhorn in the park, and the cops come up and make sure to arrest the Christian, but not the purple-haired trans rights activists. There is an agenda. But that's just 2 steps. The mayor, crooked DA. Step 3, if those 2 fail, then you just get Biden to recommend crazy, extremist Supreme Court justices. Because then, if by some chance someone does get prosecuted, or someone does lose a lawsuit, or needs to make sure they win a lawsuit, then you can just take it to the Supreme Court, where you've got these extremist lunatics who know nothing about the law. Have you watched any of these confirmation hearings? They are atrocious. These supposed judges can tell you nothing about, I feel, basic 8th grade civics information. It blows my mind when I sit there and watch it. And I'm no civics major, if you know what I mean. I just have common sense. I'm going to tell you the top 5 cities in America. The top 5 cities with the highest crime rates. I could probably go the top 20, but I'm not going to waste your time. It's just going to be a bunch of the same old, same old. The top 5 cities have a Democrat as mayor and a Democrat as district attorney. It's not a coincidence. And then they can say, oh, I'm going to change everything. Just give us more money. We'll spend it right this time. Even though Democrats have been in charge of these big cities for 100 years. 100 years. Nothing changes. People need to educate themselves when they vote. They do not want you informed when you vote. That's the last thing they want you to be. Because if I were to download everything in my mind directly to you, the first thing you would do is say, oh my God, I don't trust anything the media says from now on. And you would vote like me. That's a bottom line. That's a fact. If you knew what I know, you would vote like I do. My opinions would be yours. We would share, and not only a thought process, but opinions, and maybe even a goal. Could you imagine that? If a bunch of people shared in a goal that was good for this country? Could you imagine it? But anyway, I'm going to point out to you the 5 highest crime-ridden cities. And then I'll show you who the mayor is and who the DA is. USA by the numbers. 17 cities with highest crime rates. St. Louis, Missouri. Detroit, Michigan. Baltimore, Maryland. Memphis, Tennessee. Little Rock, Arkansas. Michael Edward Duggan. American lawyer, business and politician, serves 75th mayor of Detroit. Blah, 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 blah. Duggan received national attention following his election in 2013, in part for being the first white mayor of the majority black city since Roman Gribbs in the early 70s, when Detroit's population still had a white majority. He's a Democrat. Okay? That's the point I'm getting at. I'm going to show you one Democrat after the next. Detroit native Dawn Eisen becomes Michigan's first black female U.S. attorney. It shouldn't matter her race, but they play the race card whenever they can. Believe me. It's good that she's a Detroit native. That's an actual good thing. I hope she was born and raised in the bad part of town. Because listen to me, I was born and raised in the hood. I have a different education than someone who went to private school and went on to go to some private college and works in some office somewhere. I have a different education. My neck is red and my collar is blue. Believe me. So you do not want to elect a mayor that is totally ignorant to the city's problems. You do not want to do that. It's a bad idea. You'll end up spending more money and getting the same results. None. Absolutely none. This is from the Police Tribune in St. Louis, Missouri. Look at this. This is exactly what I was saying. St. Louis mayor votes to defund police, cut 100 sworn positions from force. Okay, and she's also some historic figure. She's the first chick wearing a pearl necklace to be mayor or whatever. I saw the article, but it just kind of flashed by. She's the first something. She's a black chick. I don't care if she's green. The problem is she gets sworn in and she wants to cut funding for police and she wants to cut positions on the force. It's intentional. I know this is all sliced and diced, and I'm jumping here and this article and that article and not reading you much of the articles, just kind of showing you the headline, because I'm trying to walk you to my conclusion. And I don't just say these things to say them. I'm bringing the receipts. This is a receipt. I told you they are intentionally trying to dismantle our country. Dismantle it. And these are the steps they are taking. And people are voting for this. People voted for her. Why do you think they voted? She probably ran on, I'm not going to even look it up. I'll tell you her campaign slogan. I'm going to get rid of crime, bring jobs back to St. Louis, and build affordable housing. Probably something with Medicaid or Medicare or something. That was what she ran on. And then right after she gets sworn in, let's cut 100 police jobs. That'll help crime. That's really going to help crime. But that's the mayor of St. Louis, Missouri, another historic mayor of our great Democrats' brand cities. Okay, so we just talked about the awesome mayor who wants to cut the funding from the police and cut 100 forced jobs. It's from U.S. News. Embattled first black St. Louis prosecutor Kim Gardner resigns. This is from June, but you're getting my point. First black, why does that have anything to do with it? Just because they can put that on the headline. She's black, so they can put that on the headline. That's the only reason. Was she qualified? Nah. Embattled St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner is resigning effective June 1st amid calls from Republican leaders for her ouster. In a letter, Republican Governor Mike Parson released by Gardner's office, she said she will step aside effective June 1st. Parson, in a statement, said he will immediately begin looking for a replacement and that he is, quote, committed to finding a candidate who represents the community values, public safety, and can help restore faith in the city's criminal justice system, unquote. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? That's like music. It is intentional. It is intentional. Next on the list is Memphis, Tennessee. This is from Commercial Appeal. Jim Strickland is the mayor of Memphis, Tennessee. And we all know about Memphis, Tennessee, Beale Street and all that. I think it's one of the coolest places on earth. I particularly like it. But the city's under siege. It feels like, I mean, the wrong people are in charge. This dude, he's a Democrat. Don't let the pale skin fool you. He's all liberal. He's all lefty. Beyond anything I've ever seen. Mayor Strickland speaks out about Tyree Nichols' investigation. We all remember the Tyree Nichols case, where 5 cops, they were black dudes. Tyree Nichols was like, he was a young man. He might have been 18, but he was a young man. And they beat him and he died. They beat him so bad. He was screaming for his mother. He was screaming for his mother. That Scorpion, they have had something they called the Scorpion Task Force or something. I guess it was some kind of drug task force or gang task force or something. But what these guys were gang bangers. I remember I read an article. I'm not going to search for it now because that's not the point of this video. Is a couple of them had ties to the Vice Lords. The Vice Lords are a gang, like the Bloods and the Crips. The Vice Lords, these cops. See, when they lower, oh, you don't have to have a degree in criminal justice or whatever. You also, you can have a felony. A felony's okay. You can have a bunch of misdemeanors. That's okay. When they lower the scale, oh no, you don't need to have any test or that they don't even make them know how to do CPR. But they lower the bar. And then you get cops applying that are bad guys. Bad guys. This is Memphis, Tennessee, man. Memphis, Tennessee. But what's he got to say about Tyree Nichols? In the hours before the city of Memphis was set to release body camera and sky cop footage that is expected to show the moments following a traffic stop that led to the death of Tyree Nichols, Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland sat down with a reporter from the Commercial Appeal to field questions about the city's response. I'm not going to read all about that because that was sickening, what they did and how they released it. And they wanted riots, man. They wanted riots. They want the city to, but they're all off. I'm going to take you to the DA, all Democrats, all Democrats. They just got some big funding for some FedEx center or whatever it is down there in Memphis. Oh, yay, money. We're going to fix the FedEx center. That's all you're going to fix. When you elect the same people, you're going to get the same results. I'm just trying to educate people. Share, like, comment, all that. I don't see anybody making these connections that I'm making right now. And I feel like more people should know what they're doing, and it should be proven. I'm connecting the dots for you. I'm walking you down the yellow brick road. So the DA in Memphis is Steve Mulroy. Ooh, look, she's pretty. But he's a Democrat as well. Never forget that. Mayor Jim Strickland, DA. Well, this is from Fox 13. This is a local Memphis local news. I like the local news sources because I feel like if you get something hot off the press before it can be muddied and molded into the narrative they are wanting, I feel like you might get some honest reporting. And she, she was pretty. Mayor Jim Strickland and DA Steve Mulroy at odds over dismissed case. Shocker. A get out of jail free card? Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland seems to believe that that is exactly what a woman got when the Shelby County District Attorney's Office recently dismissed all her charges from a shooting last year at a police precinct. Mulroy said that's not what happened. Quote, up until now, I have declined to respond publicly to these emails because I don't think it is particularly productive for the DA and the mayor to get into a public tit for tat. But 3 strikes, you're out, Mulroy said. This is the 3rd time that that Mayor Strickland's email newsletter has criticized our office by creating a misleading portrayal of an individual case. I'm not going to read all of this tit for tat. Bottom line is, Memphis is under investigation right now by the Department of Justice, which is surprising. But there has been so much pressure because of all the talk of corruption that's going on in Memphis. So the DOJ is literally investigating them right now. DOJ is, they're all in bed together. So, but they're actually investigating how corrupt they are. It's because of that Scorpion unit I mentioned earlier, because they were gangbangers, literally gangbangers. The Scorpion unit in Memphis, Tennessee. Look it up. Just do a bit of research. Baltimore Sun. This is from Baltimore. Brandon Scott is the mayor. Democrat, of course. This is just talking about and having police chief, Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott goes against his own prior statements about transparency, community input. What he did is he just said this guy is going to be the police chief because I guess the old guy retired or resigned or whatever he did, but then the mayor was like, this guy's the new chief, and there's some process. So, but he's a Democrat and they don't like to follow the rules. But that's the mayor, right? That's the mayor of Baltimore. From NPR, the Baltimore DA, Marilyn Mosby. Baltimore prosecutor Marilyn Mosby denies federal charges over her finances. She still hasn't went to trial for this. She's been going through this for years, I believe. Years. I've read so many articles on it. Marilyn Mosby is maintaining her innocence a day after a federal indictment was filed accusing the Baltimore state's attorney of perjury and other crimes. A list of them. I'm not going to go over all of it because this is not a story about her. It's the point. She is a Democrat. She is a woman of color. So she must be good if she's a woman of color, because picking a qualified person as DA would be stupid. Anyway, her husband lied on the taxes. She blames everything on her husband, so she's divorcing him. So tax defrauding the IRS. They had a lien on their house. She took a loan out, or no, she filed loans to get 2 other properties and used that as collateral, even though it had a lien on it. During COVID, she was getting paid full amount and she was still getting unemployment. And then she took money out of her retirement, saying she was indigent or something, saying she was broke, even though she had gotten a raise in 2020. She's just shady. Just shady. But that's the Baltimore DA. She's not anymore, obviously, but I'm just showing you the type of people we are putting in charge of our cities and then being like, why is crime so bad? Take one guess. When you hire a criminal to be your district attorney, you're going to run into crime, right? Crime does pay for her, obviously. I mean, that's the top 4, but that's just one of the points I'm trying to make with this video. After you elect a mayor, right? We the people elect the mayors, right? But in the city, especially in black cities, born and raised in one right here, baby. But we always lean left in the city. The cities lean left because of the garbage the Democrats have spewed for the past 200 years, right? They have conned their way into the black vote. But people are starting to wake up. Just more people need to wake up. But step 1 is putting all kinds of money and all kinds of propaganda into getting a far left mayor elected, right? So we get a mayor elected. Then it's time for the district attorney, the main prosecutor of the city. And then you get George Soros throwing money at certain people, like the Baltimore DA. I can't make that connection, but I'm just saying that's the type of stuff he does. He puts all these money into these coffers for these places, and then certain people take that money and put it behind a certain candidate because they know that that person is going to go along with their agenda, right? That's how that goes. So you've got the mayor and then the district attorney. Now, the mayor is going to do little things like the one mayor I pointed out to you and cut the police budget. Nobody can do anything about it. The mayor can just cut it out of the budget. It's done. Now 100 cops are gone. So now all the good cops are going to say, I don't want to lose my job. So they'll just quit. They'll leave and go somewhere else. They'll go to a different state or something. Instead of being fired, they will resign. And then you get people like the Scorpion Squad in Memphis. They'll apply for the jobs. Bunch of thugs and gangbangers. That'll be your police force. You think cops are bad now? Get a bunch of ex-drug dealers and wife beaters pulling you over. Have fun with that. I'm good. I don't want to see that. But so now you have bad cops applying, and also if there are good cops that for some reason hang on to the end of the rope, like, man, I'm not leaving the force. I love this city. I love this city. There's a few of them out there. Believe me, they're out there. There's good cops out there that have wanted to be cops their whole life. And now they have their dream job. Okay. And they're hanging on. They're doing everything they can to make sure the city is safe. And they're arresting people. And then these prosecutors are refusing to prosecute. You see how that goes? What happens if they do prosecute? Huh? Uh-oh, we can't have that. Because then you'll need the support of Biden, the top left lunatic, the top leftist extremist, Joseph Biden. He will nominate far left extremists for Supreme Court seats. And the Democrats will push them straight through the Senate because the Democrats have a Senate majority. So they will push them straight on through. It's called packing the courts, and they're all about it. They are all about packing the court. It's from the Daily Signal. Senate advances judge nominations of SPLC attorney, abortion lawyer, Biden pick who called voter ID grounded in white supremacy. From Tyler O'Neill. The U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee advanced 24 of President Joe Biden's nominees for federal judgeships Thursday in a move that Senator Ted Cruz described as an attempt to shield the proverbial worst of the worst from focused public scrutiny. I'm not going to read everything Ted Cruz had to say. Here's one of Biden's nominees, Nancy Abudu. Abudu serves as Deputy Legal Director of the Southern Poverty Law Center, a left-leaning litigation firm infamous for branding mainstream conservative and Christian nonprofits as hate groups and placing them on a list with chapters of the Ku Klux Klan. The SPLC, that's one of those groups that when an Antifa member gets arrested or something, that's the people that come and bond them out and pay for their legal counsel and all that. The SPLC is garbage. They are garbage. This quote, when you add laws that prohibit people with a criminal conviction from voting, it's practically the same system as during slavery. Black people who have lost their freedom and cannot vote, she wrote. Same as slavery, because somebody committed a felony. It's ignorance. And this is Joe Biden's nomination for Supreme Court Justice. You understand how crazy that is? That's insanity. Julie Winkleman. Winkleman, Senior Litigation Director for the Pro-Abortion Center for Reproductive Rights, argued on behalf of the abortion facility, Jackson's Women's Health Organization, in the Dobbs case, the case in which the Supreme Court overturned the 1973 abortion precedent, Roe v. Wade. She was on the losing side of that, you see, and now she's going to be a justice. Do you understand how wrong that is? It's a little wrong. How about Kinley Cato? Cato, a Japanese American whose parents were interned during the World War II, faces criticism over the 1995 book review in which she criticized Asian Americans who internalize the dialogue of oppressors, and over her refusal to condemn the alleged discrimination against Asian Americans at Harvard, her alma mater. See, Ted Cruz was like, you think it's wrong that they discriminate against Asian Americans at Harvard? Because Ted Cruz and Kinley Cato both went to Harvard. And she said, Senator, thanks for the question, but I don't see what that has to do with my nomination. She's Asian. She's an Asian American. But she knows she's got to stay in line with the wokeness. She can't say anything against the wokeness. What about Natasha Murrell? Murrell, a former public defender and current deputy director of litigation at the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, led a case alleging that Alabama's legislature intentionally discriminated against Black and Latina voters in its voter ID law. A court dismissed the case without a trial. Yeah, she sued them, and the court dismissed it without even taking it to trial. Yeah, that's a good person to saying that it's racist to ask for an ID at the voting booth. That's who we need as a Supreme Court justice. That's Biden's picks. This is intentional. This is how you destroy a country. Dale Ho, as director of the American Civil Liberties Union Voting Rights Project, Dale Ho argued two cases before the Supreme Court. One unsuccessfully challenging the exclusion of illegal immigrants from the population count used to apportion the House of Representatives, and one successfully challenging the inclusion of a citizenship question on the 2020 census. So he wanted illegal migrants, illegal aliens counted on the census. Eventually, they want it so illegal aliens can vote. You understand how screwed up that is? Illegal aliens who hate our country, hate it. I'm not talking about the people who love America and want to come here to help and to have an American dream. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who are invading our country, invading it, who hate it. The left wants those people to be able to vote. This is just step one of that voting debate. But, yeah, include them in the census. Why? So they can get benefits. So they can get mail-in ballots. You understand how it sounds really simple. Oh, we should have them included in the census. So that way, see the apportion of the House of Representatives, because the way they have the states sectioned off, district this, district that, and the population is this, the population is that. You know what I mean? Well, they want it so they can take control, for one thing, and they can mail. If you're included on the census, that means you're recognized at an address by the government. Next step is sending ballots to that address from 2024, right? So they can get your vote. Make sure to send them a stimulus check. It's intentional. That is the whole point. That is my whole point of this video. is showing intent and bringing receipts. This is how you dismantle a country. You get a crooked mayor with far left extremist views elected. He'll chop the budget of the police force up. Gets George Soros to pump a bunch of money into a certain DA, far left extremist DA, mind you. Get Soros funding pumped into that person so they get elected. Get rid of half the cops. The good cops that stay, if they do actually arrest somebody, the DA won't hold them accountable. They won't press charges. They'll just press charges on people like Christians and whatnots and Donald Trumps. You know, it is intentional. It's a long game. They've been playing this game for a while, and it's finally starting to pay off for them. Republicans are cowards. They are cowards. We need a third party, a real third party, not the libertarian. We need the humanitarian party. We need people who care about this country, who care about human lives, who care about enriching not just themselves, but this country. It seems simple to me. We have to shore up our borders, right? We shore up our borders. We have to bring manufacturing back to the United States. And we have to start holding people accountable when they break the law. If these politicians can't follow the laws, they need to go. They need to go. There's a lot of those three-letter organizations that need to go. Vivek Ramaswamy, Donald Trump, I feel like they're the only two that can do it. And I said it in that order because I talk a lot about Donald Trump. I'm going to start giving Vivek his due diligence. He's saying a lot of good stuff, man, and I stand by him. But I'm a loyal dude. I won't leave my friends when they're in trouble. It's not my style. I'll stand in front of them when they need me to. I'll walk behind them when they need me to. I'll walk next to them when they want me to. Whatever they need. And I'm loyal for life. I'll be loyal to Donald Trump no matter what. They haven't proven anything. They just are attacking him with an Obama appointed prosecutor. His wife donates to Biden, that Jack Smith. His wife donates to Biden. His wife is all buddy-buddy with Michelle Obama. She produced her documentary or something along those lines. The judge in the Trump case, I forget her name, Tanya Chutkin, an Obama nominee, of course, but she already ruled in one Trump case where they wanted the National Archives wanted some paperwork, and Trump said,
No. But why do you need it, or something along those lines? And the judge ruled against him, and then she had some big long speech about it. Like, you're not in, you don't have executive privilege in perpetuity. Like, no kidding. I think he knew that, but this was like January 7th, I think. They wanted something from the day before. And he was like, what? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? She already, she already has Trump fever, just like Jack Smith has. They will get theirs. Anyone who took part in this witch hunt will get theirs. God willing. This has been the change, and I am the unlearned teacher.